Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Infinite Warfare Specialist Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Operation Phoenix something. It's a side mission, technically. At this point in the game, they open up the map on your little bridge, and they show you that you can go to different planets and do special missions that get you certain upgrades. Certain ones will make your ship better, other ones will make your player better. On Specialist, they're all pointless because you already have those upgrades, it seems. I started a new game, it should have erased all data, but it gave me all those bonuses and benefits, so I don't think you should have any issue there. But at this particular instance, on that map, there is no gold triangle, which tells you that it's a proper mission, a main mission. I think it's a diamond, actually. So it forces you to pick one of the side missions. And the only thing I didn't want to do is zero gravity or space battles. So I picked this one because I couldn't remember what it was, and it's zero gravity, unfortunately. But admittedly, this zero gravity is not too bad because it's quite stealthy at first, and I think it really complements the slower pace, and it lets you get used to the grapple and the different mechanics. But later on there will be a gunfight, and the gunfight is all about getting good distance and hitting enemies that can't see you, because if they can see you, they'll kill you. Because these sections, they just don't work for me at all, because the cover is pointless. It's very, very strange. And in a previous video I mentioned, how do you make zero gravity work? So for me, as a player, I think when you grapple to something, it should automatically put you on the edge of it in cover. And you should have one hand, your left hand, on the top of it, and you should be able to just peep over the top at 100% safety, no risk of being hit. And when you hold the left trigger, he should pop up a bit and put his gun out, and it should be the normal ADS. And then at that point, you're 100% vulnerable. But when you let go of aiming, you go back to being completely in cover. And then from that point, it can give you the shortcut on different things when you look around to have a peek, where it says left bumper like that, so you can then hook from inside cover to the next piece of cover, and you are completely safe behind that cover. And that would be how you moved. And don't get me wrong, it'd take away a lot of the flexibility of movement, because you aren't really interacting then, are you? You're just pressing left bumper to go from A to B to C to D. But then at least when you start fighting, you don't feel like you're just floating around taking bullets that you can't avoid, because you don't have any control. And it'd make it feel a lot better, I think. Because let's be fair, Call of Duty's never been shy about taking control away from you. How many parts of this game are you in that flying saucer, and then it just suddenly puts it on autopilot, and all you're doing is sat watching fancy twirls and shoots and explosions and things, and you just sat there thinking, like, why am I not playing this? So they have nothing about taking away control. So to me, it seems kind of funny that they give you control in these moments where you feel so helpless. You know, if anybody's seen Phoenix Nights, there's a hilarious sketch in it where Brian Potter goes paintballing with this girl that he really likes, and he's in his wheelchair looking out from behind this tree, she's behind another tree not in a wheelchair, and she proceeds to shoot him in the chest like 20 times, and there's nothing he can do. And that's what you feel like in these zero-G moments, because the computer can fire into the sky and it'll come down on top of your head because they're fantastic shots, and you're just this dude pirouetting in space trying to catch Renoa. It's horrible. And I don't know, guys. Do you like the space stuff, this particular zero-G stuff? Why do you like it if you do? What part of it did you find fun? Is it the freedom of movement? Is it the grapple stuff? I don't know. Like, if you play this on regular, I imagine the space stuff is just like every other stuff. It's just a little bit more confusing because you have to orient yourself. Like right now, if you press the D-pad, you can realign your character because, of course, you're in space, so the axes are infinite. It's kind of crazy. But I am literally walking on the ground of this spaceship because any other form of movement frustrates me. And I might not be the target demographic for this particular mechanic as I snipe these dudes from a distance. Really interesting mechanic here too. Did you notice how it signified with the orange box that there was enemies? Over here, there is an enemy, and then when you zoom in with your gun, it vanishes, so you can't tell if you're looking at what it was pointing at or if it's a body or what. Really confusing interface, I think. And, like, look at it, like, why does it take away the squares? It seems jarring to me. Maybe it's, and it's not new to Specialist. This happened on Veteran as well. To me, this part feels confused, the space stuff. It really does. Like, imagine if there was a realistic difficulty on this game, these would be the hardest parts. Because you spend so much time moon hopping, and all you want your dude to do is go down, so much so that you can grapple into the floor to get him to go down, but by the time you've done it, you're dead. It's kind of funny, and I'm just... Boots on the ground is what I'm trying to do right now. Boots on the ground. Let's not overcomplicate this. Let's just get it done, Chris. Let's move on. There's a quick death, so there's the checkpoint. A couple of people over there spawning in. I'm going to back up and let my team be scapegoats. I don't understand why that square disappears. I can understand it being there for a set amount of time and then disappearing to be like, here's 3 bad guys, here's the notification, now you have no excuse not to know that 3 people turned up. But you can see when I come out of the aimer, it goes back on. So, I don't get it. There's a lot of stuff in this game I don't get. Who would have thought, eh? You play every Call of Duty and it can still confuse you with really strange design choices. And I actually think this is a pretty cool mission. The idea of moving on the breast of this craft, taking out all these guys, doing maintenance and stuff, this should be a highlight of the game. But all it did was really, really aggravate me. And it must be said, guys, a lot of things aggravate me when I'm recording walkthroughs. Like earlier on, there's a section where it wants you to go prone into a ventilation shaft, and I nearly screamed at my TV because I was so mad, because the game wouldn't put me in a prone. I was pushing the analog down, and my dude was standing there doing nothing. And I was just perhaps maybe not in the best mood at the time. Maybe I was a bit hungry, a little bit tired, a little bit, easily wound up. It wasn't doing what I was pressing, and when a game doesn't do what I tell it to do, boom, temper, flare, explode. I think I told it to fuck off or something. I said something, and it's an inanimate object, for Christ's sake. It's software and hardware, that make these wonderful experiences. But if it was in my room with me, I would have probably punched it, because I was just not in the mood. Like, dude, it irks me so much. The slightest thing. It really does. But this sequence went well, Grand scheme of things, I didn't have any issues here. I could have. I'm just... Of all the missions to pick, I picked this one. I should have picked the one where you can stealth the entire thing. That's a really fun one, that. And I was tempted to do all the side missions on Specialist, and then I realised just how much flying it would involve, and then I didn't think I'd bother, because my biggest fear, guys, is that this walkthrough's pointless. Because as much fun as Specialist difficulty is, it's not as hard as you think it is. Like, at the beginning, I was kind of scared because I didn't know how hard it was going to be, and I was thinking it was going to be ridiculous. And then at the end of the game, I checked my footage. I think I died, like, 3 times. Maybe less. And there was moments where I took a few hits and I didn't agree with them, so I restarted checkpoint, and I did that a bunch. But actually killing me, it just didn't really happen. And I super expected it to. I expected it to be really crazy, but there's 2 people in this hangar coming up and they're very difficult to see. I'm going to get lit up by one of them, so be very careful. Something else to mention too, do you see the waypoint over there, that blue symbol with the meters on it? Normally in Call of Duty, that thing is perpetual. It's always on the screen, it's always telling you where to go, and if it's not there, you have teammates that are generally shouting at you and making you follow them, and there's usually a follow icon on your buddies. This game, it fades for some reason. It goes invisible. And I don't know if it's because they want you to kind of find your way a little bit more, or give you the illusion of more freedom. But there are moments when I was on my first playthrough where the waypoint wasn't anywhere to be seen, and you kind of think like, well, where am I meant to go? This is quite a big area. Call of Duty, usually real simple. Follow the glowing object floating on your hood. That's kind of how the game works. And I don't know why it does that. But it's probably done it in other games, I just don't remember them so well. But we're dogfighting. So an important element of your HUD right now, do you see those gold diamonds that are also with the red arrows? That means that this person is a special pilot. He's known as an ace. And all that translates to in gameplay is that he will be very evasive. You will have to lead your shots to hit him, and he will fire missiles at you, and all kinds of crazy adversarial moments. So this is probably the most exciting that the gunplay gets in the planes, because you have to really dogfight, and on the harder difficulty you die very quick, and you have 4 of them to kill, along with a bunch of random scrubs who will hurt you just as much as the aces do, so don't sleep on them. And then there's also an asteroid field, so that there's debris to worry about. There's a lot of things to juggle, and when it all comes together like this, it can be really fun. This is actually quite a frustrating fight, this, because the vessel that I'm using is an experimental vessel, and it's using weapons that I didn't use in the game because I didn't like them. So my machine guns, which is the way I've always fought dogfights, aren't machine guns. They're these weird laser guns. And then my missiles, which I never use on pilots, are the thing that I had to use right now. So I'm almost learning how to fight before your very eyes. And this is at the point where I fully started to grasp the notion that if you want to land a missile, you have to hit that leading diamond or it doesn't work. Because you'll notice I'm getting lit up and I haven't killed anybody. And on the other bits where we flew a ship, how quick did I end those sections? Pretty fast. So at this point I was kind of like, wow, I'm not very good at this. This is going to take a while. And they will use flares to get away from your missiles. This is my machine guns, by the way, look at them. God, I hate this ship so bad. There's some flares, release the flares. And I'm chasing this guy, shooting at the complete wrong part of him. Come on, Chris, lead that shot. Change to the missiles and lead that shot. It'll pay such dividends. But it should instill you with confidence, guys, because I didn't fully grasp how to do the flying sections when it comes to critting people, and I still managed to beat the game on veteran. Because that's the thing with it, like, I just don't think there's enough depth. I really don't. And it makes me interested to see, do you think they'll do anything like this in multiplayer? Do you think they'll have any sections like this for multiplayer? Because I do think that there is a market for it, because it's just something you don't see every day. But is it the Call of Duty market? You know, will the ADHD kids sign up to play this? Which, I always find that very denigrating, is it? It's very insulting. Because not everybody who plays Call of Duty is, you know, one of those people, and not every younger person who plays Call of Duty is one of those people either. I'm sure there's some really intelligent, really fun people who play it because they like it, but it's easy to criticize, isn't it, and just say, oh, it's some 11-year-old guy who's calling everybody a racist name on the internet and drinking his Mountain Dew and his Doritos and all the other stereotypes and memes, whatever you want to call them. But I think this is the point when I realised how to lead the missile, so we start having a bit more success here, hopefully. But I just got lit up really quick then. They're scrubs, you don't need to fight them. You can do it to get rid of them, but they'll just spawn more, I think. And then here's the... See what I mean? Look how good it is when you lead that missile. It gets pretty ridiculous. And it's not that difficult to do either. Once you understand how to... I mean, if you've played Rogue Squadron, or if you've played, you know, things like Lilac Wars or Star Fox, whatever you want to call it, these kind of moments are something that you've done a fair share of. But I can't help but feeling like Battlefield was just... The plane stuff in that was way more fun than this. Never thought I'd say that either, because I'm normally a Call of Duty guy rather than a Battlefield person, but the flying in Battlefield was really fun this year. And if you didn't try the campaign, I recommend that you do, but I don't recommend you start with the first one, because that tank level is boring as shit. Unless you like tanks. You know, if you're a tank guy, you'll love it. But I think driving tanks in video games is almost as fun as pulling teeth. Ooh, how am I missing these? There's the flares coming out. See what I mean? How intense is this bloody fight? This is like a 20-minute star fight, which I quite enjoyed it, you know, I'm not going to lie. I like the idea of suffering and struggling and getting a hard-earned victory. And I'm really happy they didn't do any kind of stupid shit with this, because if they made the flying, you know, really anal and difficult, it would have made the guide way more testing on my patience. But I had a lot of fun playing this game on my second run. I really enjoyed recording it, and it gave me a bit more of an appreciation for the campaign as a whole. And that said, I still think it's the second worst in this series. No, it's not true. Third worst. Because Call of Duty 3 is horrific. Call of Duty 3 is the worst by far. If you've never played Call of Duty 3, that is That game is borderline a different game. It's fucking hilarious. Bullets not going where you aimed them, enemies taking 40 bullets to die. Horrible, horrible stuff. What was Treyarch thinking? You wouldn't think Treyarch would have turned it around so well with World at War after that third game. And if you never played COD 3, guys, you owe it to yourself. It's hilariously bad.